and welcome to today's episode of Unleash Hour. It's another great day that God has given us to continue sharing about what we need to have in place as we prepare to thrive in 2021 and beyond. So, this is the fourth segment of my series on preparing to thrive. In the first segment, I talked about self care as the foundation for thriving. The second session was focused on fixing your past, that it's important to deal with your past as you prepare to go into the future. Thirdly, we spoke about setting goals and what you need to consider when you're setting goals that will enable you to thrive going into the future. And therefore, today, this is the fourth and last session on preparing to thrive. And I have entitled it Sharpening Your Tools. That one of the other things that you need to do for yourself as you prepare to go into the future is that you need to sharpen your tools to have them ready for the task at hand. Therefore, without wasting much time, I would like us to go into the details of this discussion for today. And I'll begin by saying that the truth of the matter is that we all want to thrive. There is nobody who is out here to live a mediocre life. There is nobody who is set to live a life that is less than what they desire and less than what they want. Secondly, our areas of focus are different. When it comes to thriving, the areas in which we are focusing on are different. Some want to thrive academically, others want to thrive in the area of finances, others want to thrive in ministry, others want to thrive in their careers. So, different strokes for different folks. And it is important that you understand what your own areas of focus are. It is allowed for you to have more than one area of focus, but you shouldn't have too many, because when your focus is spread in very many different directions, then it ceases to be focus. Therefore, yes, you're allowed to have 2 to 3 areas of focus and no more, because the more the number, the less your ability to concentrate and to thrive and do well in those areas that you are considering or working on. So the other thing that we must also realize that we are wired differently. Not all of us have the same tools. Not all of us have the same abilities. Not all of us have the same strengths. We are wired differently, and it is important for you to understand your own wiring, because then you're able to function effectively. We need befitting tools for the task at hand. It is tricky for you if you want to cut a piece of wood and the only tool that is in your hand is a hammer, because then what will happen is if you attempt to cut that piece of wood using the hammer, you'll end up destroying it. There's an interesting anecdote that somebody shared somewhere, and I found it very funny, that he was saying, to him who has a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So they will keep hammering and hammering and hammering away, including where there are no nails. So it is important for you to have tools that are befitting the task at hand, so that you're not using the wrong tool for a particular kind of job. So when you're looking at thriving and you're looking at your toolbox, it is important that it is equipped with the right tools, and the tools also need to be in good working condition, which is what we are talking about today, which is what we are sharing in this particular session. So the next question becomes, what is in your toolbox? What is in your toolbox? So your assignment determines what tools you need in your toolbox. Your assignment determines what tools you need in your toolbox. So you need to be clear about the areas where you want to thrive. I think I've already mentioned that, because then you pack the right tools into your toolbox. You need to thrive in this particular area. Ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need to have in place? What do I need to put in place? That's why it's always good to think prior to getting started how you're going to navigate through the journey of thriving. Otherwise, without that, you will find yourself struggling when you're already on your way, which is not a good thing, and which doesn't help anyone in the long run. So ask whether what is in your toolbox is sufficient for the task. So be clear about what you have at hand. Be clear about what tools, what implements you have in place, so that as you begin to move, you are able to do what you are set out to do without a problem. Think about a farmer. Before a farmer goes to work on his farm, he must make sure that if he's using a hoe, that the hoe is in good working condition and the hoe stick is okay, so that when he gets on the farm, he will focus on the task of plowing or doing whatever it is he wants to do. If he knows that there is need for him to do some slashing and clearing before he starts digging, then he will make sure that he carries a slasher. The same thing happens at harvest time. He will carry the kind of tools that are necessary for harvesting. So it is always good for you to ask yourself and to look at your toolbox and see and make sure that whatever you have is sufficient for the task. If it's not sufficient, then you are better off holding on and getting the right tools, holding on and putting your tools in good working condition. Then you will be able to move and things will work out far much better for you. So the next question is, what do you need to add in order to get all set for the journey? I think I've already spoken about that. What do you need to add in order to get all set for the journey? So it's important that you know what is missing and what you're short of, so that you get it in place. What is the condition of your tools? What is the condition of your tools? So are they in good working condition? Are they ready for work? Are they all set for the task at hand? Are they due for maintenance, or do they need to be upgraded? Because sometimes it is maintenance, and that is where sharpening comes into play. And sometimes you need to upgrade your tools because they are past their sell by date, they are past their useful life, and therefore they need to be upgraded. Another reason why you might need to upgrade your tools is if the scope of your work has increased and your tools are not sufficient, then an upgrade becomes a foregone conclusion. You realize that you need to upgrade. So why sharpen your tools? Why sharpen your tools? There's a quote here from Abraham Lincoln who says, if you have 6 hours to cut down a tree using an axe, spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. It is critical that your tools are in good working condition, because then you'll be able to proceed faster in doing whatever it is that you need to do. Otherwise, you'll find yourself struggling and putting in a lot of effort and seeing little results. Ecclesiastes 10:10 captures that very well. It says, if the axe is dull and the man does not whet the edge, does not sharpen the edge, he must put forth more strength, but wisdom helps him to succeed. So wisdom in this case is to take time and wet the edge of your axe. Sharpen the edge of the axe so that it is in good working condition. It is in perfect working condition. Then you will spend little time or lesser time cutting down the tree. You will preserve the energy that you would have otherwise spent in cutting down that tree or whatever it is you are working on. Stephen R. Covey says in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it is absurd to say you are too busy driving to stop for fuel because eventually your car is going to stop. Eventually, you are going to run out of fuel and have to stop by force. So instead of putting yourself in a position where you are stopped by force, it is better that you learn to take periodic stops to work on your tools, periodic stops to take care of the things that you need to take care of before you move on to the next stage. So, in answering why we sharpen our tools, number one is you realize that sharpened tools make your work easier. You see, a tool in itself is supposed to make your work easier, but when it is blunt, when the edge is blunt, then you end up expending more energy. You end up taking longer, and a lot of things go wrong. But when your tools are sharpened, they are in good working condition, your work becomes easier. Number two, tools also enable you to proceed faster. Tools enable you to proceed faster. So there's the element of saving time when your tools are sharpened and ready for the task at hand. I've already alluded to these enough times, but let me say that tools, when they are sharpened, will save you crucial energy. They will save you a lot of energy. You will not struggle to do things which you need to do in that particular time. Sharpened tools increase your effectiveness and efficiency because in saving time, of course, and saving energy, efficiency is seen. And by getting the job done, of course, you have been effective. Sharpened tools cut down the possibility of burnout and mediocre work. Part of the reason why we get burnt out is we are working with the wrong tools, or we are working with tools which do not have a fine cutting edge. As a result, the spending of extra time burns you out. The other thing that happens is mediocre work, where you are not able to produce the best results, where you're only able to come up with average or very poor results. So your work, your output will be mediocre when your tools are blunt and not well taken care of. The other thing is, yes, referring back to time, it is short-term pain for long-term gain. The few minutes that you spend sharpening your tools will serve you well over the long haul, as opposed to if you continue struggling with blunt tools, blunt implements, blunt instruments. So it is very important for you that you take that short time to work on your tools so that you're able to use them for a long time and make your work easier. So, how to sharpen your tools? Identify the right sharpener for each tool. If we were to look at ordinary wood cutters and those that deal in woodwork, some of the tools will require sandpaper. Some of the tools will require stones. So they are oil or water stones. They are diamond stones. And there are very many other implements, files and all that that would be used for different tools. So it's important for you to identify what is the right sharpener for the tool that you are using in each particular instance. And number two, apply the sharpener to the rough and uneven edges of your tool. Make sure that you're working on the edges that are rough and uneven. And for purposes of this discussion, I'm going to focus on the mind as a tool that we have. There are many tools, including your education, including your mind, and basically the repertoire of tools is huge and wide, depending on what it is you're working on and which area you are seeking to thrive in. But for purposes of this discussion, for us to have an example of a tool that we are looking at, allow me to focus on the mind. So if we are to focus on the mind, one of the things is memory, and there's a Harvard article that points out a number of things we can do about sharpening our memories, which is what our next point is about. That staying physically active is very helpful for your memory. As you work out and as you do whatever it is you're doing, it has a strong impact on your memory because it touches on your brain cells. It touches on circulation of blood all the way to the brain. That activity keeps your mind sharp and focused. Number two, getting enough sleep. Getting enough sleep. So people should get into the habit of having enough sleep. The idea of trying to survive on a few minutes of sleep is not wise. The idea of thinking that you will spend a lot of time doing other things and then cutting down on your sleep is not productive. It is counterproductive in the long run. So make sure that you get enough sleep. It keeps your memory sharp. Not smoking. So one of the other things that has an adverse impact on memory is smoking. And therefore, if you want to help yourself, if you want to stay sharp, if you want your memory to stay sharp, then you will want to steer clear of smoking. Good social connections are also helpful for your memory because with them, you're able to stay alert and you're able to stay engaged with whatever is going on around you. Uh, Limiting the intake of alcohol is also a very helpful strategy for you to keep your mind sharp, for you to keep your memory up and running. Eating a Mediterranean style diet with the fruits and vegetables and white meat and all that, very helpful also in keeping your memory sharp and alert. Some of these things we are mentioning can only be mentioned in passing in this particular setting. You would need a deeper and a longer session for us to be able to explore all these things in great detail. And of course, I'll be talking about how we can do that as we come to the end of the session for today, how you can engage with us much more deeper. So still on the mind, in maintaining cognitive fitness, there is a number of things that you can do. One is for you to keep learning. You must ensure that you are in an environment where you are challenging yourself to learn new things over and over again. You must maintain what is called a childlike curiosity, desiring to learn new things, being open to learning new things, and that will keep your mind young and sharp. Number two, use all your senses. Use all your senses. In other words, engage all of your senses in whatever it is you're doing. When you're eating, look at the color of the food and take it in. Think about how it tastes as it goes into your mouth. Think about the aroma that is coming from the food. So, in essence, you're trying to be very present even as you eat that food. So, whatever it is you're doing, aspire to use all your senses and it will help you. Number three, believe in yourself. Don't subscribe to the myths that says as you grow older, your cognitive abilities must decline naturally. It does not have to follow that path. So you have to tell yourself the right things. That helps you to stay sharp and focused. Number four, prioritize your brain use. Do not spend your brain's energy on things which you can automate. You don't have to remember everything. You can use reminders, digital reminders of whatever nature, so that your brain is left to focus on the things that are really important. Do not clog your brain with too much that you need to remember too much all the time. So take advantage of the automation that is around you to keep your brain focused on the few things that truly matter and that need to be at the forefront of your mind. And when you're learning something, repetition is key as well in keeping your mind sharp. The more you repeat something, the more it sticks and the more you become comfortable around it. So make sure that you're focused on whatever it is you're learning and doing that repetition as is needed. And still on repetition, you need to space it out so that you're not doing it too frequently. As you repeat, space it out. Take some time, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before you go back to the same thing, a day, a week. And the more you do that, the more it sticks. Play mentally stimulating games like Scrabble. Very good for the mind because it keeps you thinking. Crossword puzzles are another thing you can also do. Sudoku and all those things. All those little games that we even find in some pages of the newspaper can be very helpful in keeping your mind sharp and alert. I already spoke about exercise when I was speaking about memory, but let me say that yes, physical exertion protects brain cells and fosters their growth. The more you exercise, the more you have benefits for your brain and its cells. Then the final thing is meditation. Meditation. Take time to clear your mind of all that is going on around you. Take time to clear your mind of the clutter and everything that would be bogging you down so that you're able to have clarity of thought. Meditation helps with clarity, and a clear mind definitely is sharper than a mind that is clogged and full of many thoughts and things to work through. So that brings me to the end of today's session. So, in summary, over the last 4 sessions, we've been talking about what you need to do in preparing yourself to thrive in the year 2021 and beyond. And our first session was focused on self care, how to take care of yourself, your body, your mind, and your soul. And we covered different things in that discussion of self care. The second session was focused on fixing your past. And then, thirdly, we talked about setting goals, that goals give you a sense of direction and something that you are pursuing, so you are very clear about which direction in which you're going. And then today's session has focused on sharpening your tools. That as you sharpen your tools, you're getting yourself ready for thriving. So if you do these four things, work on self-care, work on fixing your past, work on your goals and what you're chasing towards, and then sharpening the tools that you need for this particular journey, then you will find yourself getting there. So then next thing becomes, are you ready to thrive? Are you ready to thrive? As I finish, this is a question that you need to answer. Are you ready to thrive? So if you know and if you believe that 2021 is the year where you will make significant advancement on your goals and in your life, if you believe that the time is right for you to move to the top of your game, then I want to encourage you to consider taking up our course, which is entitled Optimize Your Life, or to join our Optimize Your Life coaching program. Because I believe that the lessons, the insights that we share in there can position you for a thriving future. If you learn the lessons that we share there and apply them in your own life, I want to guarantee you that the future that will come your way will be more than everything you have dreamt of, will be more than anything you have ever thought possible. So, if you want to know more about the course and to sign up, you have our contact information there. Please get in touch with us and let's see how we can help you thrive in 2021 and beyond. So, God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and let us purpose to thrive. Let us purpose to build a better future than what we have known and what we have experienced in our life so far. So, thank you so much. Have a thriving 2021.